Hey friends, welcome to today's video. Today I'm sharing with you my top 8 powder products from the drugstore. Now this covers blush, powder, and bronzer. I just narrowed it down to 8 for all categories. If you are new to my channel, my name is Lisa. Welcome. I'm a former makeup artist and MAC Cosmetics trainer. I love teaching makeup. It is my favorite thing to do. It is why I started YouTube, and I love to teach makeup in a simple, attainable way. So if you're into those types of videos, definitely subscribe, and I would love to see you here in my future videos. Let's get started. So first, I'm gonna dive into blush because half of these products are blush products, and I personally feel like these are the best blush products that I have tried from the drugstore. They are all powder. The first one is the e.l.f. Blush in the shade Mellow Mauve. I love this blush. This blush is a very, very soft, and again, you know, obviously, depending on your skin tone, you might find this to be too light or too dark for you, but the actual formula is really great on all of these products. So whether, you know, I speak to the particular shade being amazing, I also love the formula. Now, what I love about this particular shade is that it is the most softest rose shade. It has a slight bit of peach to it, but it definitely leans more on the natural rose side. So it gives the cheeks kind of very natural flush to the skin. It does have a very subtle highlight effect, like a very subtle sheen to it, I should say. I love the word sheen. When I hear the word sheen, I think just the perfect amount of highlight, okay? And that's what this blush has. It has a sheen to it, so it's not gonna be flat matte, but it's not sparkly and pearlescent, which can be problematic if you have large pores. So basically what this is gonna do is it's gonna give you a little color and a little bit of highlight without being too much of either. Love this blush, great everyday blush. Okay, the next one is probably one of the first products I ever talked about on my channel, and this is actually the same one. It's a little old. This is the Milani Blush in the shade Luminoso. Do you guys remember, if you've been watching YouTube for 6 or 7 years, do you remember when this blush was just everyone was talking about it? I have that from this, that's how old this blush is, but it is a beautiful, beautiful, peachy coral. It has a sheen to it too. It's a bit more pearlescent than the e.l.f. blush is, but it also is a very fine shimmer to it. So it does highlight the cheeks without being excessively pearlescent or glittery or thick. It's really beautiful. It's a beautiful blush in the summertime. So, so pretty. I do think that this is a good tone for anyone who's fair up until tan tone. It's just a beautiful, beautiful shade. And I've tried other shades in this formula and they're all great. So I really, really love this. Some of them have a little bit more glitter marbling in them, and I'm not a fan of those, but I love the ones that are kind of just like a consistent, subtle sheen. Okay, the next one is a new product I picked up, and I just picked this up actually a few weeks ago, but it is Physicians Formula, and it is their Happy Glow and Mood Boosting Blush in the shade Natural. It also comes in a deeper shade that's a bit more pink, which I want to pick that one up too because this is very, very natural on me, very light, but I like it. I like it. It's very light. I could use more color, but I also like it the way that it is. The formula of this is just a really nice, buttery powder formula. It too has the perfect level of sheen. When you look in it, you think that it's gonna have more sparkle than it actually does on the skin. So it's really nice. It's kind of one of those blushes that has multiple different colors to it. So you'll see some pinks, you'll see lighter pink, darker pink, and then you'll see some bronze shades, and you just mix them and swirl them all together, and it gives the perfect natural glow to the skin. Really love this. The next blush is by Burts Bees. This is a powder blush, and I don't have the name of the shade on the back of here, so I'll have it listed in the description box below, but I love the formula of this. I keep meaning to pick up this formula in another shade that they have, the more peachy shade. This color is I think it's called Shy Pink, but again, confirm that in the description box below. And this, of all of them, is the more pink of it. It's a cool tone pink. It has a really nice amount of pigment, so it's kind of foolproof. All of these I feel are very easy to apply and build. You're not gonna get too much color right off the bat or too much product, but you can build it to get more if you like. This definitely is gonna brighten the cheeks and pop the cheeks a little bit more than any of the others that I showed you. And as far as a sheen goes, this is definitely one that has less than any of the other 3. So this is more of a matte version of a blush without being, know, too matte. It still looks like a creamy matte, if that makes sense. Very consistent. Sometimes matte blushes can be hard to lay on the skin, or they can be patchy, or they can be sheer in other places. This one is real consistent and applies beautifully. Okay, let's talk about bronzer. Any guesses? I'm just curious. Type what you think it's gonna be before I say it. The Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. Yes, of course, this is just, I mean, this is one of my favorite bronzers, period, regardless of, you know, it being a drugstore video. This bronzer is my go-to bronzer. I love it. The consistency, similar to the blush from Physicians Formula. Physicians Formula just makes some really exceptional powder products. They are creamy powders. They lay on the skin so softly, but can be built for more payoff. And they all have like that really low level sheen that gives the skin the most natural radiance. I shouldn't say luminosity or glow because it's not quite at that level, but it's just radiant. It takes like flat skin and flat dull skin and gives it a little bit of life. And you can't even tell that it's really the makeup because it's that subtle. It's beautiful. Love this. Okay, I've got 3 powder products to share with you guys. Let's start first with I have 2 like kind of setting pressed powders. The first one is by No. 7, and this definitely kind of gets up there to the higher price point in drugstore products, but it's so fantastic. It is worth every penny. I think it's around $11 or $12, so it's not expensive or anything. You're still dealing with, you know, Target prices or drugstore prices. It's the Lift Illuminate powder. This powder completely blurs pores. I've talked about this powder a lot recently because I rediscovered it. But when I first discovered it, I remember just kind of grabbing it out of curiosity at the drugstore, but not really having seen any videos or reviews on it. So I had no idea that it was so good. And I put it on and I was like, my socks were blowing off. I was like, whoa, it just made my pores disappear. Everything looked smooth. I really love it. It's fantastic. And what I really love when I rave about a product so much and I'm so like convicted in how great it is, and then a few weeks later I start to get comments from you guys like, I picked this up because of you and I loved it. And I got a lot of those comments a few weeks after I talked about this. So I'm sharing the love, I'm spreading the word. That powder is awesome. Okay, the next is by Revlon and it's their blurring powder, and this is a newer product that I picked up a few months ago. It also does exactly what it says. I need to just toss this little brush. Why do I have this brush in here? Goodbye. It does exactly what it says. I mean, the name is right there in bold, blurring powder. So I expected it to be noticeable, and yes, it is. It does a great job of blurring the pores, making everything look soft and smooth. The difference between the two, I would say, would be that the Revlon is a little bit more sheer. Let me see. Let's see here. Let me give you guys some points of difference because you're gonna ask. Yes, okay. So I think, here, hold on. Let me make sure of this. No, okay. The Revlon is not more sheer. The Physicians Formula is a little bit more sheer. So if you like a very lighter, if I like a lighter setting powder, I would go with the No. 7. The Revlon is gonna have a little bit more pigment to it. It's not a heavy powder. And again, you know, you can pick the right brush to apply it to the amount of level powder that you want. But of the two, this one's gonna be a little more translucent than this one. It's not completely translucent, okay? It's not completely, but it's gonna be a little lighter weight than the Revlon. So those are the biggest difference. And of course, a few bucks, I think. I definitely think the Revlon's gonna be less pricey. And then the last powder I have is such a beautiful and underrated product. I don't really ever hear much talk about this. This is the Bacon Blot Powder by Makeup Revolution, and I have the shade Banana Light. I'm gonna show you on my hand here what that does. So it looks very opaque on the finger, like everything does, right? Every time you get a finger swatch, it always looks more than it is on the skin. This brightens up under the eyes and the center of the face so beautifully. It's a baking powder, but I think it's definitely more on the softer side of baking. Also has a very pretty sheen. These powders don't. The No. 7 and the Revlon definitely, you know, are kind of your traditional matte setting powders. It's perfect for the person who wants to highlight without using pearlescent products, okay? You know, when we think of highlight, I think we naturally think of these powders that have a lot of shimmer to them, and you put them on the, you know, right here and the tip of the nose and the Cupid's bow. You can still highlight without that shimmer, and this is the way to do it. So I really, really love this. It also comes in a white version, which is pretty as well, but I love the banana because it's not as white. It's more subtle. It's beautiful. I use it under the eyes, I use it on the tip of my nose, and I use it on my forehead. And again, the finish of this is just the softest, sheen. It also helps blur pores. In my experience, it makes things look very smooth. So it's great for under the eyes because it's not gonna magnify that texture. And that is it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what your favorite powder products are from the drugstore. Budget-friendly beauty, I want to be a focus on my channel this year. I'm still gonna do, you know, my Charlotte Tilbury's and my Nordstrom and all of that because I love all makeup and I love going to Sephora, but I do want to really dive in and discover more budget-friendly beauty for you guys on my channel. So if you have recommendations or things that I have to go and pick up and try, please share the love and let us know down below. As always, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope I get to see you in my next one. Bye guys.